Fortæl os lidt om baggrunden omkring Peter Swanson.
Ja, Peter Swanson var faktisk lidt et tilfælde, vi opdagede. Vi var på udkig efter en forfatter som ham. Vi har altid vidst, at vi ville ind i den niche, der hedder ikke you've done it, eller who's done it, you've done it. Det var sådan set det, der var vores udgangspunkt. Og da vi på en messe i Frankfurt faldt over en forfatter, der havde, hvad kan man sige, det bogmærke, og samtidig ligesom havde nogle kendetegn, eller de gamle gys- og grofilm fra Hitchcocks tid, Patricia Highsmith, for at nævne nogle af de mest kendte, så begyndte vi sådan stille og roligt at sige, at det er en af dem, vi gerne vil have frem i Danmark. Vi synes, der har været for mange såkaldt politisk korrekte krimier i for lang tid, altså nordisk noir, som har domineret markedet, og vi vil gerne lægge os ind i et marked, hvor vi synes, vi ligesom udfylder et hul, der handler om, at noir og krimier, thriller godt kan have, hvad kan man sige, karakter af noget, hvor man ikke rigtig ved, om man er på den gode side eller på den dårlige side. Og det er faktisk meget af det, som Peter Swansons bøger handler om. Altså, man er faktisk i tvivl til den sidste side, om man er på den ene eller den anden side af loven. Og den tvivl, den fanger læserne.
Yeah, Peter Swanson, what brings you to Denmark and to Horsens?
Well, I was invited to come and talk about my new book. I'm not going to say it in Danish, but I'll say the English title, which is The Kind Worth Killing. It's my second book in Denmark. And my publisher, Anton&Ludwig, were kind enough to invite me to come here. And I'd never been to Denmark, so I took the opportunity. Yeah.
Why have you chosen Denmark to publish your book?
Well, because I was invited, one. And two, I also went to Norway. And did the crime festival there in Oslo. So, yeah.
Okay. Is it hard to kill people on paper?
No, it's very easy. Much easier than in real life. Not that I would know, but yeah, it's fun to write about crime. I love it, and I love evil characters and all that because they're fun to write. You know, in real life, you have a moral code, and you can't cross certain lines. And when you're writing a character who's really evil in a book, you get to let them do whatever they want. Whatever comes into their head, they can do. So it's fun. I love writing crime. So I love reading it and writing it. Yeah.
When you figure out a person in your book, is it a fictitious person or is it one who you have met? Or?
Oh, I make. Do I make up my characters or do I base them on people? No, I make them up because I don't want to get in trouble if I use a real person in my book. But you know, they might have little bits and pieces of people I've met along the way. But in general, I've comes from my imagination. Yeah.
What's the hardest part of being a crime writer?
The hardest part of being a crime writer, I mean, the writing is hard. As much as I love to write, it's hard to sit down every single day and continue your story. It's kind of like I set myself a deadline, so every day I have to write a certain number of words. So every day it's like you have a paper due at school. So that's hard. And then, but once it's done and you get a full book, and if you're happy with it, that's the best feeling. And then you get to travel the world and talk about your book, and that's good too. I like that. Some authors don't, but I enjoy it.
If you wasn't a writer, what would you do? What was your profession?
Well, my profession was I worked in bookstores because I always loved to read. So I worked in bookstores and I worked in education. I was a teacher, and then I worked with teachers as a teacher trainer. But I was always writing. Even before I got published, I wrote book after book. This was sort of my first book that I published was the fourth book that I had written. So I've always done that. I think maybe if one of the things that I would have liked to have been was a book reviewer because I love to read so much.
It's also fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Writer's block. Do you know anything about that?
I don't. I actually don't get writer's block. What I do get is I'll keep writing, but maybe not writing well. So maybe I'm uninspired, or I can always write something. Every morning I make myself write something, but sometimes it's terrible and I have to throw it out. So that's the only kind of writer's block I know, because I won't allow myself to not write. If I sit down to write, I make myself put words down on a page. So I haven't personally experienced it, but I have had trying to come up with an idea, or you're trying to come up with something happens next and you don't know what to do. Just start writing. That's what I do.
If you see something that is bad in your writing,
Yeah.
do you find out about it, or?
Do I? What do you mean? Do I find? Oh yeah. I mean, yes, but I do. I rewrite and I go through and I revise and I try and pull stuff out. And then of course you have, my agent reads it and he has many suggestions. My editor reads it. My wife reads it. She has many suggestions. So I have a number of readers who go through it, and it's an interesting process. It's just writing your first draft is just the beginning of the whole process. There's a lot left to do, but I like editing. Okay, it can be hard, but I like it.
Research, is that a big issue?
No. I'm bad at. I'm very lazy about research. My books are more like thrillers. Like this is a book about a man and woman who meet and plot a crime together. So it's not a police procedural. It's not a detective story in that way. So I don't need to make sure I get all the details right. So maybe one day I'll write a classic detective story, and then I'll have to do research. But right now I kind of just make it all up. Thank you. Nice talking to you. Thank you.